All right, guys, in 2 minutes, I have 3 back-to-back calls with multiple people who are in our high-ticket community. This is what people pay me and my team a lot of money for, and I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to turn on the camera, pull out my tripod right now, set this down, and you guys are going to see. Now, obviously, as I set this up before my call, let's see. Is that good? So, obviously, this is going to be super custom fit for them, and you're going to have to try and apply this to your own situation, but there's going to be a few people in each of these calls, and you'll kind of get to see why we recommend certain things, why we point people in certain directions, so on and so forth. I think this lighting is really bad. I'm actually probably going to switch the camera angle, but I got 1 minute. I should have came down here sooner. I'm actually going to probably go maybe do something like this. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe something a little higher. And really quick, so you know what we're going to cover. This first one in 1 minute is a roadmap call. It's basically we have people fill out a form, get everything unique to them, experience, schedule, responsibilities, preferences, location, everything that they have, and then we give them a custom roadmap. So that's call number 1. Call number 2 is the market positioning call. I'll probably have to screen share for this, but we're gonna do resumes. We're gonna talk about Loom videos a little bit. We're gonna talk about kind of how people get hired into jobs that wouldn't maybe otherwise be qualified for. Third thing is progress audit call. And on the progress audit call, we are going to be reviewing applications, seeing what kind of jobs people have, what kind of jobs they don't have, and then troubleshooting bottlenecks using our application tracking sheet. So it looks like we got 3 people on this first call. It's going to be jam-packed. Let's get into it. Hello. What's up, you guys?
Good afternoon.
We got a full house. Awesome. Cool. What's up?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Before we get into this, I know you asked me about that role. If we have some time, I'm down to dive into it. It's just usually, especially when we have 3 people on here, these are pretty jam-packed. I'm just seeing your response here too. If I can't reply on this call, I'll type it back to you here.
Good.
But anyways, you guys, thanks for jumping in. I don't think, sometimes I get to meet people like one-on-one before this call, but not the case yet, I don't think. And so on this call, this is the roadmap call. Before you guys go and really start making a big focused push into this industry, we want to help you do 2 things with this call. I want you to walk away with these 2 things. One is a super clear custom fit kind of roadmap based on everything that's unique to you. So you guys filled out forms when you jumped in here. We asked you a little bit about what you're doing, sales experience, schedule availability, income you're looking to match, short-term, long-term goals, bottlenecks, everything. So we're going to kind of run through those to start. And then after that, you're going to get the first thing, which we're going to kind of go around and talk about, like, okay, based on everything unique to you, here's where you should probably go. Also, your goals in mind, and then the same. The second part of this is I want you guys to have like a really, really solid understanding of why we're recommending this thing to you. So if we say you should do this and then you should do this over here, kind of by having this small group environment, you're gonna get to see different perspectives and why certain outcomes are more likely based on unique circumstances. So I'm gonna pull up this form, and then we're gonna kind of just bounce around on the submissions, and I'm gonna probably ask some questions here and there to clarify some things. It's probably gonna take maybe half the call. By the end of this, I'll have the exact understanding that is needed so we can kind of give you those custom recommendations. So just give me 1 second to pull this up. So I know you guys just said it. I wasn't listening super intently because I was trying to find this. I know you mentioned over in Washington. You're where at?
San Diego.
Okay, and then I swear I heard you say it. Where are you at?
I'm out in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Okay, cool. You guys are probably wondering, so you guys are all in the States, which is makes things simple for sure. But one of the first questions we ask is family situation, like spouse, kids, anything like that. You're probably wondering, what the hell does that have to do with this? Well, it has a lot to do with it when we're talking about like commission-based sales, right? We don't want to tell you guys to play this too aggressively or too relaxed based on the goals and the situation there. So, for example, you've got 4-year-old girl, baby on the way, spouse, no wife, no kids, like kind of solo. So right there, like the situations are already a little bit different how we're going to kind of take these into account. Now, in terms of what you guys are all actively doing, I know you're in, and I'm probably going to start with because that's the order that these forms are in. I know you're doing business consulting, art and programming. I don't remember if it was Carolyn or Diego. They said you do a lot of things. Okay, yeah. How do you like, where's a lot of your focus going? Is it evenly split? Is it into one or the other?
So I'm kind of phasing out, but also phasing in the art sphere. I'm getting out of high end art, going into like design, like clothing design, stuff like that. Kind of low stakes, low time commitment. But most of what I do is cybersecurity. I also do business consulting. I help people build businesses, and that's kind of a person on person, case by case basis.
Okay.
Very customizable.
Cool. I think for you, it's a little bit more straightforward. You're in tech sales, and then you're in biotech and pharma sales, which tech sales is one we see a lot. Pharma, not as much, to be honest, but there's a lot of similarities between that and other types of sales in terms of like the structure, probably like more corporate meeting, managerial kind of stuff. We'll dive into that in just a little bit here. More similar for you is you guys are working like, if not full time, like pretty much close to it. It looks like you're working more than 40, and then it looks like you have a pretty leveraged schedule at about 20 a week. Is it a full-time job that you kind of condensed into 20, or is that just okay, cool.
Yeah, like when I first started, I was probably working the full 40 hours, but now I've pretty much learned how to do everything in like 4 hours a day. So
cool. Are you all remote?
Unless I have to go visit a company in person, yeah.
Sure. Same. What about you?
Yeah, same deal. I mean, I can condense it.
Yeah.
It's all, depends on what's going on. I travel a lot for work. Sometimes I have to actually go to Europe 3 or 4 times a year for work. So it just depends.
What about you? Remote versus in person?
The bulk of what I do is remote.
Okay.
Business building, that kind of stuff is in person, like coffee shops.
Gotcha. Okay. Dude, y'all are all making good money, which usually we have a good mix of like guys who are more experienced, less experienced, some sales experience, or just starting. I mean, you guys are all at minimum in the 6-figure range about right now. Some of y'all multi-6 figures, which is sick. When I jumped into this, I like probably different situation. I was making a lot of money in like door-to-door roofing sales, and a lot scrappier, I think, than like tech and pharma. A lot less like guaranteed or not guaranteed, but like a lot less structure probably. And I was super intrigued by the remote stuff, so I kind of know what it's like to like, we'll get into it more, but have this good income that I don't want to just like burn to the ground, but also I want what's over here. So I've got that perspective to share. All right, cool. Getting into sales experience. So usually people are going to write a decent amount here. We're not going to spend too much. Can I do this later? Yeah, it doesn't really matter right now. What I'm getting at in this one is you guys have a lot of sales experience. This is kind of for me to gauge like, okay, you're in tech, like, does that mean like you've been an SDR for 3 months or whatever? I can tell by the earnings that you guys put on here, you kind of know what you're doing. So one thing I will clarify on, the next one we asked is attempting high ticket sales, the remote setting closing space for, and before I just go around and ask, I'm going to generalize the average response and just say, most people, they've seen content, maybe they've watched some videos, went through like some free-ish, cheap trainings, just like learned about it, but they haven't actually gone and like applied to jobs, gone through interview process, maybe like paid like high ticket, something like this. Is that about right for you guys, or do any of you guys like have more experience in that coming into this? Okay, so pretty clean slate. Cool. Cool. Okay. The next thing we asked you guys is biggest problem. Not that you would have any huge ones coming into this, given you're brand new, but I know you wrote like making the first step into just like working this job. You wrote taxes, limits company puts on comp, and then just finding the right opportunity time wise. When you put limits company puts on comp, are you talking about your company or the one you potentially want to be in?
Yeah, I guess I misunderstood the question. I thought it was like asking like current problems, like
okay.
Why get into this.
Are you W-2 for a U.S. company?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then we get into some income goals. I mean, you guys all have just like pretty much ballpark the same similar goals. Like we want to get to the 10K mark. We've seen people do it. We want to do 10, 15, 20, 30, and just like do what we know is possible out there. So that's understood. You put in a little bit more detail on here around part-time, 15, 20 per week, which we're probably going to get into a little bit in just a sec. I have a feeling there's a little bit more to the story, unless you just want to be part-time and just like exist for the rest of your hours, or like, is there something else, like, are you trying to stack?
Well, because I'm saying I'm keeping my W-2 job.
Okay.
And so I'm saying with that additional time that I've got throughout the Monday through Friday, or even on the weekends, I guess, that's where I'd like to fill those hours.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of what I was assuming. Cool. Short-term goals. So this part of it, you guys, like, I'm not going to like nail down every single thing you guys said. I just want to kind of skim through this and just clarify anything, because if you haven't noticed coming into this, we're super big on expectation setting. I don't want, a guy like this, you're making great money in what you're doing. I don't want you to just like burn it down blindly under the assumption that you're going to make 30K month one in this industry, right? And so I just want to kind of read through these, make sure nothing is just like completely out of left field here. Put in terms of short-term goals, like it seems like you're really skill set focused, which is cool. Finding a good niche, growing into the kind of person that can find offers and execute. Cool. No huge red flags there. I know you mentioned just like scale up 5K pretty quick, then scale to 10, understand the industry. That's totally reasonable. And then potentially fully replace W-2 role, which, I mean, we've had people do it. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have seen like some of the interviews that we've run, but we've had people from tech, like enterprise level, come in and do that. So longer term goals, you wrote move into like larger ticket deals, some outside of like the high ticket space. You mentioned things like tech, real estate, more creative roles. So it sounds like you're here to kind of learn a skill set, get paid for learning the skill set, and then leverage that. Earn enough, throw a down payment on a house in Nashville. I like it. It's a real goal.
Nice. I think I copied and pasted what I put.
Yeah, you did. I mean, that's a good short-term and long-term goal. Like, have the ability to not have the W-2 if I don't want it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're getting towards the end of this. I just want to make sure I'm fully up to date with where you guys all stand. I think I can probably skip through some of the rest of this. So a lot of you guys, we asked like, what can we do to make this the best thing you've ever done? And a lot of it revolves around jobs. I mean, if you guys have been learning about this space, you understand like, look, I can memorize the 5 objection overcomes, 1 call close, whatever. It's like, how do I get into the real opportunities? And I'm kind of seeing that in some of the final responses here, just getting into those. We asked the last question, like anything last minute you need to know. You wrote, so both doing this part-time, traveling, especially to Europe, we're going to have to navigate around that. And then
I guess like the biggest question there is like, say I know I'm gonna be gone for a week. Do I just say my calendar's full, and like our company's usually like, oh, okay, that's fine, or are they usually like, oh no, we need you to be available? Like, how does that go?
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to that. It's going to depend on the role, how many people are on the team, how much heads up, which we can just honestly we can get straight into it right now. We'll start with you because we're talking about that. So it's good to know that you guys are both starting this part-time. Are you, just so I know, so any of this can apply to you, are you aiming to also do like kind of a part-time ease into it thing and slowly go full, or what are your thoughts?
I mean, if the right offer was available, I would go full-time.
Okay.
But yeah, part-time just to leverage my career that I already have.
Okay. So let's see. This is where like we get pretty strategic because you guys all have like a level of sales experience to where as long as you just ramp up to like one call close and you understand like a framework and this offer, like you guys have the sales ability to compete, on these teams. It's not about that. It's about like landing the good offer that is going to be flexible around what you have, what you're willing to give up and what you're not willing to give up, that still provides you that opportunity. One of the biggest, or actually not one of, the biggest bottleneck in anybody, whether you have sales experience or not, getting into this industry and like ramping up fast is schedule availability. Like there's no way to skin it. Now, that being said, or there's no way to skin it. There's no other way to skin it. That is the thing. And so there's a lot of ways around this. There's different types of roles. You guys, without diving too much more into the history, I'm almost going to say you guys are all just primed to go straight to closing. Is anyone in here looking at anything besides closing? Okay. So here's the thing. When people have a little bit less sales experience or a little bit less like immediate drive to make a lot of money, but they have a lot of time, like schedule commitment, I'll push them towards the DM appointment setting stuff because that is one of the most leveraged jobs that you can have. Now, given that you guys are, trying to kind of rival what you're doing now, closing is different because it's like, hey, if I have 4 appointments on my calendar, like that's going to be potentially 4 hours that I have to accommodate for. With DMs, it's like I can talk to 100 people in the span of 20 minutes. And I can do that 4 times a day on my lunch break in the parking garage after work. Like I can squeeze it in. Closing is like there's a little bit more like structure to it. So for you, let's not talk about the travel part yet, but like your overall schedule availability, assuming you kind of mold it to be what you can, like what do you think you have on a weekly basis hours wise?
Well, that depends on how late like people are willing to take calls. You know what I mean? So I don't know what time. Like if there's calls from people at like 7 p.m. I can do, you know what I mean? I was thinking was like work the J job until like 3:30 and then just be available from after that to like 7. But there's all sorts of like potential in the middle of the day, and that's going to be like calendar scheduling. It really, really depends. There's a ton of flexibility. I'm at a point where, nobody's watching what I'm doing for work. Like I can do the day job and then flip into like one of these calls.
Yep.
Go back. You know what I mean? So it just really depends on what's going on in the week. There's a lot of ability to like move things. So that was one of my biggest questions. Like, how does this work?
Yeah. I think it's going to be important for you to be able to carve out, and similar for you too. If you want to go straight to closing, it's going to be important to carve out or at least give like calendar priority to some type of opportunity on like a regular schedule, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, I know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after 3 p.m. my calendar's fully open to do this, right? Like we have to kind of give the guardrails for where these companies can book, unless you just say like, hey, I'm, Monday through Friday, give me 48-hour booking notice. Like, so you can automate that, right, in the CRM or the calendar. I think if you guys are as good as I think you probably are, companies will be more flexible for people like you guys. You're professionals, above a good sales rep. They want someone that knows how to operate professionally, represent their company well. So yeah, I'm just there's like a lot of different like nuanced like potential scenarios here. So I'm trying to like condense this down.
People that are already kind of in this similar position do it? I know there's probably a lot of different ways, but like how are some of the things that have like worked out for people?
So this is like, I kind of hinted at the DM stuff. So it depends how aggressive you want to play, because for some people they're like, dude, I couldn't quit my job if I wanted to, but I want to see side income and like see that this is real and scale into it. Then I would say, dude, like with the few hours a day that you do have, pick up some DM setting stuff, get proof of concept of this industry and bridge the gap. Because right now, all of you guys, you have sales ability. What you don't have is like industry experience. And so if you did pick up something light, something a little bit lower on the earnings than like 10, 20K per month, you could then bridge that industry gap, which then qualifies you for a bigger role should you want to make the full jump later. Other than that, the more that we like restrict down what we're willing to accept, with the main criteria being schedule and then probably like on target earnings type of role, the longer it's going to take us to get in. And so you kind of have to figure out like, would I rather get in sooner with a more entry level role to get the experience, to get the proof of concept, then scale from there? Or would I rather hold out for something that just like perfectly aligns with the schedule, my interest, and all that? What I would recommend for each of you guys is identify like the top 2 kind of roles, whether you're identifying that based on like a schedule basis, an on-target earnings, a type of offer. I'm trying to think. You mentioned something about real estate. Like there's tons of real estate offers going through here. You might be more willing to play the game more aggressively for the perfect real estate offer than like something that you don't really care much about.
Would you also say that having a little bit of that experience doing the setting would give you better communication with the people who are also on your team?
Yeah, I would.
Make you better closer long term.
I would default and say, yeah, that's not going to make you worse. It will make you more attractive, but I don't think any of you guys need to do that unless you want to. I think there's a lot of stuff that we're going to pull out in the next call from what you guys are currently doing or have done that you can kind of skip that step unless you want to be a setter. Let's see. For you, because what makes this a little bit more difficult is we have a high income, but we also have like schedule commitments that we don't really want to compromise. So it's like trying to find that happy medium of like, where do we find the right amount of exposure to show us that like this is going to be something serious, something worth our time. And it's hard because when you're applying to jobs, obviously people figure this out, and I'm happy to like go back and forth in the DMs and on our call series and all this and like further define. But it's hard because when we go apply to jobs, it's not like, so let's say you say, hypothetical, every day after 3 p.m. I can take calls. Cool. I can guarantee that time. I can't just go to the job board and sort by closing roles that are cool with me taking calls after 3 p.m. Like you kind of have to go through the process of applications, go interview, bring that up to them, maybe bring it up before so you don't waste your time or their time. But I also think, honestly, I don't even know why I'm like putting so much emphasis on, well, maybe it's because of the travel thing that we're talking about. But like, you're the one who has the most like schedule commitment right now at like 55 hours. Is that a flexible 55 or is that?
Yes, very much so. I take on jobs so I could take on less if, especially if I need an open schedule. Like I said, depending on the offer, I'll open up the time.
Okay.
Because I'm looking for bugs. I'm looking for, difficult problems to solve.
Got it. You mentioned cyber too. Are you selling cyber or are you like...
My service, but not like software.
Got it. So let me kind of summarize this because we've talked about a lot of different things. So you guys are all competing on the basis of sales ability. I don't think is going to be the bottleneck for anyone. Like I think if we snapped our fingers and you guys all had fully open calendars, you would be able to compete for 10, 15, 20K per month roles. The nuance comes in where it's like, okay, I have this gig, these hours that I'm willing to give or that I'm not willing to give. The travel thing is kind of also like a case-by-case basis. If a company has 2 sales reps, they're going to be a lot more reluctant to just give you a week off out of Wynn's notice versus if they have like 10 or 20, something to definitely take into account. I think one of the best angles for all of you guys, given we have means to make money if we dedicate our time to this and we don't want to not make money, is you guys are all probably going to be best off like targeting people or targeting companies that value like quality over quantity, meaning, hey, look, I'm not going to be your 40-hour per week guy because that's just not in the cards for me right now. But for this time that I can allocate, I'll probably be your best closer because of this. And so just finding, like getting in conversations with those companies. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of young people in this industry. There's also a lot of like mid to late 20s, early mid 30s. And then we have like people up to, I don't want to insult anyone. I think we got some 60-year-olds in here. But like for y'all's like demographic where it's like I'm not new to this. I've existed in the corporate structure. I know how to hold my own. I know how to like meet my quotas and do all this. Like that's super attractive compared to the 20-year-old kid who got sold the laptop on the beach dream. So I think it's just finding the unique leverage. It could be in like industry understanding. It could be in literally it could be in the sales ability because you guys have years and years. So
it
yeah.
also kind of sounds like maybe targeting larger sales teams is going to be to our benefit as well.
Yeah, there's kind of like I'm not going to say diminishing returns to that, but some of these larger sales teams, they're not large for the right reasons. They're large because they anticipate a lot of churn. And so it's like, how do we get into one that's large because it's quality? And that's like a big part of what we'll help with as well, is doing the due diligence, because when you guys do find something that piques your interest, because we have like other obligations, we don't want you guys wasting time. So that's a big value add here, is when you go into like interview interview processes, application processes, the space is small. We can usually kind of connect the dots and point you towards someone that knows something that's not like public, or someone that used to work there, knows someone that works there. So it's a lot of the value that we can provide, but we're not even expecting you guys to do any kind of applications yet. We're not expecting that until after the next call. But yeah, to summarize this, I think all closing, I think it's kind of going to be a little bit of a volume game given the restriction on the schedule. But I think the restriction on the schedule can kind of be like counteracted with the sales acumen that I'm going to assume that you guys have. And it's just starting to put feelers out, take data on who's interested, who's not, and then running due diligence on that, which again is not even until after the next call, unless you guys want to. If you see something, you're like, dude, I should apply to it, I don't think we're going to have time, but I'll get back to you after I have like 2 back-to-back calls. Something like that, I think it's a good role. The short of it is I think it's a good role, and they have like a team that does like $1 million a month, which is a good amount in this industry. So yeah, just kind of like being very careful with what we take. This isn't anything new. I mean, if it gives you guys any peace of mind, most people that are in here that can afford to be in here, they can afford it because they have jobs when they join. Working around schedules is one thing, and not to like undermine the whole DM thing, but if you guys are like, dude, you know what? I'm cool with making a chill 5 or so a month, just sending some DMs, inbound DMs, like booking people that are interested, and just like get my feet wet so I can kind of learn the ropes. I'm definitely down to talk about that some more, but I also think if you guys want to go straight to closing, you can. It's just closing comes with that time commitment, and if time is the restriction, then we have to just find the right opportunity, which is usually done through volume. And when I say volume, I'm not talking like, dude, in the corporate space, it's brutal. It is so brutal. People were like, I applied to 300 jobs on LinkedIn. I didn't get one interview. Dude, in here, it's like you apply to, like, we kind of pointed you towards the type of jobs that you're qualified for. In this case, it's closing. It's rare for people to be like 15, 20, 25 interviews deep and not have multiple positive things working, because we hit them faster than everyone else. We hit them with better resumes, better Loom videos, better recommendations. Like, we just like really play that game. We're supposed to have one guy jump into the next call. He's not in the waiting room yet. So any questions? I know that's a lot we covered right there.
No, it's good to know. Volume game's fine. That's what I mean, I think we're all pretty much used to that.
I'm in your next call, so if you want to continue this as that call, I'm probably that guy.
Is that you? I didn't even look at the it is you. Cool. Okay. Yeah. No, I usually just chill in the same Zoom room. So the next call is the market positioning one. Booked it proactively, which is good. Hopefully you were able to do the stuff before. But yeah, that's basically it. And you're the only one in here, so we'll have plenty of time. Any like other, I guess, process questions? I gotta point you towards where to book this call and the prerequisites, but anything based on what we just spoke about?
No, I don't think so. I've got some definitely like pointed questions, but I've got our like next call scheduled for Friday. We'll speak then, and I've got some of it, which more just pertain to me, so I feel like I don't want to take up.
Yeah. Well, also, man, don't hesitate to DM me at all. I'll go explain whatever I can in whatever detail in the DMs. So are you booked for that next call too, or not yet?
No, I thought we were supposed to do that afterwards. So
Yeah, we are usually. I don't know. You guys are ahead, which is good. But it is, if you go to like the sidebar on the left side, or I guess on the computer, you go to onboarding, there's the 5 calls. It's a market positioning call, and the main thing is just bringing a draft of the resume, and not just like the old resume you've had for 5 years, but one that is like for this space. We have the templates and the tools and all that to build that.
yeah, almost done. I've just got a couple more things. It's hard because a long time ago, jobs from like 2012 to 2020, I'm like, I don't have all the data like that.
No, for sure.
So I have to like do what I can, but like.
Yeah, I would say as long as you can just dump the data on there that you do have, we'll be able to make it better. I'm going to go through this right now, but I will work on everyone's resume to get it 100% before we go out and do applications, because we don't usually have time on that call. On the one that you're on on Friday is fully booked, and when we have 3 people in there, we go until the very last minute every time. So if you can just book, for you, you're the only one, just book that whenever. It's probably next Wednesday it's open. Between now and then, and for you as well, if you see something you want to apply to, don't not apply because we haven't done this, but before you go and do like 20 manual applications, like let's make sure everything's like super dialed in. There's some concepts that we're going to go over. I'm going to probably get into them with, but sales experience is the biggest thing, but then the industry experience or understanding is really big and even being considered. And so we need to make sure that people know that you understand this industry despite you coming from pharma, tech, or anything else. So anyways,
it's easier too. I could just stay on with and do my session right now.
if you have like resume put together, we can run
Yeah.
it. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, let's get into that one. If you have anything, if you don't know where to book that call, just DM me or I can have Carolyn help you with it. But yeah,
I think there's a link or something in there.
there is. Yeah, it's just onboarding and then there's the 5 calls. It's the market positioning.
All right, I'll
All
let
right.
you guys get to it.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
That's great to meet you.
Okay, so can you guys, I don't know if we're taking a breather.
I'm here. I'm just going to my laptop now.
Okay, cool. Can you DM me your resumes on Circle? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them up. We're going to screen share. We're going to spend a bulk of this call talking about the resumes. We're going to hit on the Loom videos a little bit after that and then open it up for just a little bit of questions. I'm going to cancel your Friday call so I can open up one spot for someone else. We'll make sure we get you all situated on this one.
That makes sense.
If you guys have Google Doc, editable would be preferred. If you did it on Word, just PDF it and send it over. I don't have Microsoft Office applications on my laptop as of right now, so a little bit limited with that.
Through my company, honestly.
Yeah. And then let me know when you send those through. I'll open it up.
Yeah, I just sent it. I'll be right back. I'm just going to join from my computer.
Cool.
Right, just sent it.
Sweet.
You definitely watched the training on how to have a good background, I assume?
I did. I got through most of the course.
Yeah, right now I'm failing at that, but
It's not
There's
as
definitely improvements that need to be made.
it's not as important for these right here. Can you turn that into a PDF and drop it in the chat? Because I can't screen share
Oh, okay.
both unless they're PDFs.
I'm just going to go grab a notebook. I'll be right back.
Cool.
Yeah, I think my schedule availability is going to be a little bit easier than to where I can pretty consistently block off like 4 hours a day on my calendar. So
That's good. That's the thing with closing. It's like if you don't have, depending on how good they think you can be, if you don't have even like 3-4 hours to offer, it can be a tough sell. Even tougher for because he's in Pacific time. So, I mean, he seems like a sharp dude. We'll figure it out. But usually it's just like it takes a higher volume of applications to get there. You said you sent this. All right. So,
Should be hot now. There we go.
let me see. I'm trying to get this in my Chrome browser so I can just screen share Chrome and flip between the tabs because I have some other resumes that I want to share with you guys. Here we go. I think. Yep, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna screen share. I thought we were just gonna have one in here, so we're just a little behind pace. So we're gonna kind of go through this quick. Again, peace of mind. After this, we're probably gonna need some edits to be made. I will help you guys get this 100%. I will personally do it if you can just get close, because I would rather us save time and just apply to more faster than worry about the science of the resume. It's kind of stupid. Let me just pull up some other ones so we can have some things to show, and then we'll get straight into it. First thing I'm gonna notice is we need single page. You got that? We've
Definite trim for me.
had this one. If it makes you feel better, man, this one was like 3 pages when we started, so we'll be able to get it there. You just kind of do a quick scan. This looks awesome right here. Cool. 22 leadership awards. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be really good. Let me just look through yours really quick. Capital, awesome. 2010, 2022. Yeah, we got some stuff to work with here. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is this, and anything like this. You have something similar right here. What these are really good for, and kind of this, but not really. Let's see if you have it here. Oh yeah, right here. What these are really good for are checking the boxes on any of these like ATS, AI, resume scanner, filtration system deals. The thing is, in this space, these companies, the reason why they're hiring commission-based sales reps is because they're lean, mean, fast-growing, cash flow positive teams that, quite frankly, have not invested into HR that has these tools to use the AI shit that I just talked about. So what I'm saying is this industry as a sales rep, extremely performance based. I would rather spend the real estate on my resume talking about stuff like this, which is showing that you've done the job, versus something such as this, because you could put this on your resume, you could put it, and it doesn't mean anything because there's no quantified amount of anything here, right? It's like I could put this as well. We could also have someone who's only ever served tables put this. Well, maybe not like HubSpot and whatever, but like client report. Like, what does that actually mean? So I would rather show that you know client report through a quantified kind of deal like this, which the GPT will help you get. So the very first thing that, like, kind of backing up, these companies don't have huge HR departments. They're not using, some of the biggest ones will have the AI stuff, but most will not. What they're gonna do is they're gonna go to their applications, they're gonna open up like 10, 20 resumes at a time on their computer. This is what I did when we were hiring for our agency. And they're just gonna like flip between them and just like see eye test, like within a split second, like, does this person even care, or are they a joke? Do they not take this seriously? If I were to eye test this resume, pretend I don't know this guy, this is all sales experience, but minus the Army stuff. Before I even realize that this is sales experience, what I do realize is how damn articulate this is. And like how the attention to detail is almost like psycho level. If your resume looks like this, I can only imagine the attention to detail that you're going to pay to the leads in our CRM. I can only imagine how clean your pipeline is going to look, right? And so that's why I say being a good employee is more than being just a good closer, because like a good closer, sure, maybe they can capture 20-25% one call closes, but that means what? Everything else falls through the cracks. Like, we don't want that. The very first thing is the eye test. You'll also see it on this one, and I'm going to work with you guys to get perfect, so don't worry about that. We just need to get close. The second thing is this kind of stuff, and again, you've done it really well here. The data, right? The biggest mistake that people make on this is writing it like a job description. Let's see if you did this. Unfortunately, a little bit here. I think we could probably run this through our chat GPT and it'll help. So here's the thing: onus, artist, and sales lead. There's artists that are household names. There's also artists that end up on the side of the road. If I'm not in the art space, I actually don't understand what any of this means. Even when you say sold hundreds of handcrafted art pieces, I have no frame of reference. And so the easy way to do this is put it into the chat GPT tool. It'll help you kind of pull the numbers out and extract that. But I always say this, like, imagine you're at Thanksgiving dinner and your nephew comes up to you, 7 years old, and they're like, hey, like, tell me about what you do. They say, okay, that's cool. Like, are you good at it? Like, how would you describe to them that you're good? You would probably have to tell them, like, the entire story so that in their mind they can understand why that's good. I'm going to go here and I'm going to find something right here, perfect. The way that we're going to show people across industries, coming from art, coming from tech, pharma, that we're good is quota attainment, it is rankings in the team, and it is compared to industry averages. Those three things. Anyone in any industry can understand that, 98% is still great, right? Like, quota's a hard thing, especially for in the current state of economic standing, I guess. But like, anyone can understand this, right? And anyone can understand this. So we got 111 here, cool. What they don't understand, like, let's just say, I don't know. Let's say this one's a little different because it's like your own business. Is this one your own? Yeah, this one's your own business.
It's also my own. That's what I do.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Awesome.
Sorry, my VPN like crapped out for a second there. If you guys
All good. So here's an example of one. I'm just gonna look at this resume. So like, drove revenue growth from 6 million to 8 million. So if this guy just said like, I did 8 million in sales. First off, like, if I'm just looking at this, I don't even know what kind of company that is. I do know what it's a manufacturing company, but like, if I'm looking through 10, 20 resumes and I just see I did 8 million in sales, I'm like, okay, is that amazing? Is that terrible? Is that why you got fired and now you're looking for a new job? But then he put, achieving a 33 increase from 6 million, which like paints the picture that he actually drove the value. And so again, I don't want to like get too hung up on this just for the sake of time. The first thing is formatting, and that's like, the font type, font size, pushed all the way to the margin on the dates, same date format all the way down, same number of bullet points in here. I would love to see on yours. Oh, here's the other stuff. So here's a flaw for the sake of, we want to be great in here. The fact that you have 3 bullet points here with a ton of great information and none here, if I don't know you, actually, all recruiters, all sales managers, they're not looking to hire, like when they look at a new application for the first time, they're not looking to hire you. They're looking to like sort you out. They're looking to if you're a waste of time, get you out of here as fast as possible. And so if I don't know you and I don't want to give you the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to assume, because there's nothing under any of these, that like it wasn't good, it wasn't relevant, whatever. Now I know, because it says and there's relevant titles here, I know there's good stuff in here. And so even if, like, if we look at this one, this is a, VP of sales role where he really impacted the company. And then all the way going back to 2016 and beyond is United States Army. If I put these two side by side, they almost look identical. And so we need to show people that despite the type of role, the title, the job, whatever it was, that we made a significant impact in that role, in that company, even if it's not sales experience. And so it's not going to apply as much to you guys. If it's not sales experience, we do that through money saved, efficiency, profit gain, like other sorts of metrics with which the GPT will work out. For you, this should be really easy to grab metrics for these using that GPT tool. Yeah. But the main thing is we want to have the same number of bullet points throughout. I usually go 4 per. Single line is also important because I'm going to pick on you. You made it easy in this case. If I have 20 resumes up in front of me, I am not reading all this to learn what this is. I would so much rather have just super clean cut, concise, data driven points here. I always tell people, if you can have 2 points of data in 1 bullet point, that's good. If you can have 3, that's perfect. 3 kind of paints the whole picture. Usually it's like sales, time, percentage, something like that. And that's like, oh shit, I don't know anything about being a technical sales representative, but I do know what these numbers mean, right? Like the sales numbers and the acronyms, they kind of go across industries. You just have to give the context for people to understand that. Kind of dragging behind here. I want to make sure we stay up on pace. Format's number 1. The experience write-up is number 2. Just use the ChatGPT. Next is going to be this relevant education block. And so for each of you, we definitely, again, we're building a high ticket specific resume. We definitely want to have the community on here. The other things that we want to have on here, and actually a lot of your resumes are going to look different, such as like, if I look at this one versus this one, they look slightly different. Relevant education, obviously anything sales related. You probably have sales trainings that were tied to your company or through your company. I would put those on here. If you can bridge what you learned there to be relevant to this, I would put those on there. Also, if you guys have ever invested into any other alternative education, agency stuff, marketing stuff, writing, if you can bridge that gap, people love to see that you invest into your skill set in like alternative ways, because that's a lot of what is being facilitated in this industry. That's where you're going to kind of bridge the gap. I did mention, first and foremost, you compete on sales ability. Then you're going to compete on industry understanding or experience. This relevant education block is going to help you close the gap on that second part, which is, for all of you guys and in the call before, is the biggest opportunity right now. There's that. Some people, like, I like to show this one. I used to serve tables with this guy in college. His resume, all sales experience here, all different industries. And then he just had like a ton of trainings. He actually used to sell cars, and the dealership gave him these huge big name trainings. I would be surprised if you guys didn't recognize one of these names, right? So we kind of generalized the trainings, made them relevant to what it is we want to do, and threw them on there. And he got so many interviews for this. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on some of these. I know these guys are controversial, some of them. It got him a lot of interviews. That's the third thing, relevant education. So first and foremost, eye test. Do you look like a serious applicant? Okay, then if so, let me look at your experience. And then how do you write it up? You can see here, super dense with numbers. The next thing, the relevant education. You can call it relevant education. You can call it sales education, high ticket sales education, whatever you have in there. Maybe for you, we just call it sales education. The next thing is going to be this, the formal education. So I have a bachelor's degree. You have, do you?
Masters, but I do have 2 bachelors, but they're non-business related. It's biology.
Okay, that's fine. Are those on here?
I did not put those because I figured masters was more. MES is masters.
Okay. Yeah, well, I study construction science, so I definitely don't know what MES means.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I have a, bachelor's degree. It's not really opened any doors in terms of applications or opportunity in here, but if it is seen on a resume, it's good to see that you can do hard things for a long time. So I always put it on there. However, I put it more towards the bottom because it's not going to be what gets you separated from someone who has a ton of sales experience or a ton of sales training. If we look at here, you can see this. That's where we put it. The last thing. So that's formal education. Doesn't apply to you guys. I wouldn't put a high school diploma, wouldn't put a GED. I'd only put bachelor's and up, or associates maybe. But the next thing is interest. And actually you have it down here, Ryan, or you have it in a different format, skills. But this stuff, relevant to what you were doing before, potentially not so relevant here, Salesforce maybe. But I would rather use this I'd rather use this real estate for something else that's a little bit more applicable. So what you'll see on some of these is interest. I don't even like that so much. Let me think of one that we redid recently. Give me a sec. This one. I think this one's good. Yeah. So just like this, conversation starters, it shows that you have the life outside of sales. If you guys have been in sales, one of the most dangerous people to have on your sales team is the guy that has nothing going for him besides sales. Because when sales get slow, his life crumbles and he's very difficult to get out of a rut. And so just showing that you do productive things. So this is one thing. If I have 2 extra lines at the bottom, I'll put it. You guys might not, because you guys have a lot of work experience to write up. You might look more like here, where it's like a lot of work, some sales training, no more space, short and sweet. I mean, this got him, he made $9K in his first month, closing, straight to closing. So this works. The next thing I would put on there, I don't even want to use the rest of the time to talk about this, but languages, if it's not Spanish, I usually wouldn't carve out the time or the space for it. I saw Portuguese and French. It would be very, very rare for you to land an opportunity, or tech here. So you kind of had this, and I think maybe you had it too. It's not gonna move the needle. I would rather put another bullet point on each of my experiences to show that I actually know this stuff than to just say that I know G Suite. This is an older resume. We pushed up on time a lot faster than I was hoping to. I thought we were gonna have one person in here, so we ran a little over. But that's the resume. So the main thing that we need to do soon, I know we're coming up on the holiday, is make some resume edits. We have the templates. That one that I showed you from is basically the template that is in the program, and then we have the GPT. So just run your stuff through there, send it back to me, ideally on Google Docs, and make sure I can edit it, and I will edit it for you guys. I will turn it back to you. I'll film a video of me doing it all. I'll turn it back to you. It will be ready to go. The next thing is the Loom videos, and unfortunately I do have the people in the waiting room for the next call. I actually just did a good post on some recent Loom video from this guy who I showed. There's a lot of resources on the Loom videos. I have a full YouTube video that I think is linked in the program. My best recommendation to you, because those are going to be more important, and I'm going to let these people in. I'll tell them we'll just get started in just 1 second. Loom video is more important. I needed some time to explain this. We'll get started in just a minute here. More people are going to ask for your Loom video. Almost every opportunity is going to ask for your Loom video. The reason why we put so much emphasis on the resume is because they're going to happen at the same stage, but the bar for the resume is so much lower. And so if we can create a larger gap on that portion of it, we're going to be instantly prioritized for those offers. Loom video, we still want to compete, okay? And it's fairly easy to compete. We have the 4-step framework. It's in there. We have examples. I'm also happy to personally review your Loom videos and give you super tailored feedback. The main thing that you need to know is the objective of the Loom video is not to get hired, it's to get an interview. For guys like you, who was in the last call, you need to get on interviews. Because on paper, people might pass up on you because you are not yet in this industry. However, if I get on an interview with and he shows up in a suit jacket versus someone, I'm not on a, it's a little bit different for me. I'm not on an interview today. But if someone showed up to an interview with what I'm wearing, hat, hoodie, but I have a lot of high ticket experience, I would be a lot more interested in as a representation of my company. And so that's why the game for you, anyone who has a lot of sales experience, is bridge the gap to get on as many interviews as possible, because once we're on the interviews, we have a really big leg up. Again, a lot of this industry it's pretty young, pretty inexperienced. As this industry continues to grow bigger and bigger, selling to more serious players, bigger services, they need professionals. That's where the need is. It's not in remote closers who can handle a spouse objection. So it's a good example. We're just wrapping up this last call. So that's the main thing. From here, the next call is a progress audit call. It's the one that these two gentlemen are here for. I would recommend that you guys book that next Wednesday at the soonest, if not Friday, because between now and then, the number one thing that we need to do is submit applications. That is it. Like, exist in the community, read through, show up to the live calls, the open floor ones, but it's not the time for sales role plays. It's not the time for tens of hours of sales training. It is get our resume to a point where I can finalize it for you. Once that's finalized, there's one focus. It is applying to job. Well, actually two focuses. Applying to jobs, using the application tracking sheet. If you don't use the application tracking sheet, we cannot actually help you. If you use that sheet and you're not getting the outcome that you are hoping for, we can tell you exactly why. And you could probably see it for yourself because it pulls all the data and it shows you where the bottleneck is. So long story short, from here on out, redraft resume, or not even redraft, just like clean up based on what we just talked about, send it to me, preferably Google Docs that I can edit, get it back to you usually within 24 hours and go from there. And if you guys between now and the next call have stuff come up where it's like, hey man, I got this interview, what do you know about this company? I got second round here, I got offer here, can you help me out? Like, I will help you out. I will help you in the DMs, I will do anything. I still need to get back to you in detail about that one.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just feedback. I think the guys that do the best, they just communicate, like, to be honest, because this is not rocket science. It's not rocket science at all. It's a sales job. It's something that you guys have all done already before. And it's just like, how do we do the same thing in a different industry has a pretty low barrier to entry? So that's basically it, you guys. I wish we had a little bit more time, but I want to make sure Bonnie and Brandon get what they need. Anything at all, though, any questions that were not answered here, DM me directly after this before you forget, and I'll get back after this call.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. I just talked for like an hour straight. Okay. I'll see y'all. Thank you. All right. I appreciate y'all holding up. We got our progress audit call. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't lying. I literally just talked for like an hour straight. Let me take a sip of this. I guess we're going to talk about like one or two things. Okay, things are going good. I got, can we get some eyes on this offer? Do you know this offer, this interview, application, stuff's going good. What do you think of it? The other side of it is like, I'm not quite getting what I want yet. And we're gonna troubleshoot that. Unless something changed, I kind of remember where you're at. But if you guys wouldn't mind just kind of sharing the latest, and then we'll kind of dive into that one by one. Whoever wants to go first too is good.
So I accepted an offer week and a half ago. So my first day was last Monday, and I like everything about it so far, except for the show rate is atrocious. It's like 30% on these calls. So they're booking, and we talked about it as a team. Like we have 2 part-time setters and 1 full-time setter they brought on right after me. They're booking 6 to 8 calls a day, but I'm only getting into like 1 or 2 of them, because they're just no shows. Everything else looks really good. Like, I love the offer. I love the guy that owns it. Like, it's not a crazy price point. It's $5,800, and the close rate's pretty high when we get them on. Like, I've made sales. It's just, and I don't know that it's a setter issue so much as it is a funnel issue. I just don't know how long to give it. Like, it is a newer offer too, so this is something they're still dialing in. But like at this rate, it's only going to be like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I'm going to give them a couple weeks, obviously, just to kind of get things dialed in. But the OTE is supposed to be like 10 to 12.
And then based on how it's going, you said it's about six to eight.
Yeah.
Ish.
So there's a few, like, there's 2 different packages on the main offer, and then there's like kind of a drop to their marketing team where they just do marketing with us rather than a full. It's called. The guy he scaled a detailing shop business from 0 to 90,000 in 90 days, and then he made this blueprint on how to do it, and it works. Like, people in the program are having crazy success with it. So like, you get the program, his whole curriculum, one-on-one coaching, CRM system, and marketing all in this package. But for certain people that are doing fine, they just need leads, like, we can switch them just to marketing, and then it's a 20% commission on like $1,000 package, so $200 there. So those are really easy to grab at the worst case scenario.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, right now $1,500 in basically 1 full week, so I'm only tracking like $6,000. It is a holiday week. It was my first week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things at play here, but it's just really like, since last Monday, our show rate's 32%.
Last Monday meaning like 9 days ago.
Yeah.
Is it I was trying to see, I was looking through our messages .com.
Mhm.
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, from a high level it sounds good besides the show rate. I would definitely take into consideration the holiday weekend a little bit, but
That was.
30% is very low. It's hard to sustain for any business. Like, I know even for you as a sales rep, it's hard. It should be hard for them to sustain that. Are they just running paid ads to Sales Call?
No, so he runs a ton of ads. Like, he's spending a ton of money on ads right now. And again, this is newer, so he's ramping it up, getting it dialed in. They had 2 part-time setters, which they're part-time. They got other things going on. One's 18 years old in school. The other one's running up his own business. So they just hired a full-time setter, and he's been he's been working his ass off. It's just, I don't know if it's just the ICP. It's like these 20-something-year-old dudes that started detailing that want to, take it to the next level. And, I think that's part of it, right? It's just their
It could be.
clientele is.
I would like, for the sake of this call, it's not really what the call is for, but I would like to do like a little bit of I'm happy to do this, like a funnel deep dive with you, because there's a lot of stuff that can be done pre-call. This is like what I used to do for our agency. There's a lot of stuff that can be done to help with show rates.
Yeah, so he's using an agency called, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but the guy, I mean, I don't know enough about running an agency to know, but it sounds like he knows what the hell he's doing. Like, the funnels are working. We're getting a ton of traffic. I think it's partly a setter issue, which we've covered on our team calls, where we're not spending enough time with them on the set.
Well, I don't like to point it towards the setters, even if the setters could be lacking, because example for this community, right? Like, we run a high ticket offer. We don't have phone setters, and we have show rates that kind of like, they beat out a lot of other companies. And I've run the offers that are like to pay traffic. I've run them off personal brands for other people. And, if you can get in the 50 and above, you can scale with that, but it's not ideal. 60 and above really is where you're probably going to be, like, with volume. 70% and higher is generally pretty low volume, and that's really difficult in 2025 to crack. And so I would be interested to see that, because there's a lot that can be done, and selling to detailers is one of those demographics where, similar to, like, I've known people that sell to blue collar business owners, like pool builders and stuff like that. Dude, they're on the go, they're blue collar, their client calls them, they got this job, it's running over, there's a lot of stuff that could go on there. So before we speculate too much, if you can send, or actually, I don't know, I might book like a fake call. If you see
I see everything that comes through, so I can flag it.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more after. I want to dive into your situation, and then I want to help here where I can.
Yeah, I just figured I'd hop on to finish my life cycle of.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, this is good. Like, we want feedback, whether it's good or bad. I think 6 to 8 in your first month, like, it could definitely be worse, but at the same time, it's like, we don't want you getting no-showed all day long. That's not fun, right? So
yeah, I just keep hanging on to it. It is a new offer. They are ramping it up. Like, their spend is going to go crazy in December compared to what it is now, and it's already quite a bit. So we'll see what happens.
This is a hard time of year, man, because I mean you're in sales, you get it. Like, not only is Thanksgiving tomorrow, but people are traveling like all week, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm not panicked yet. I just wanted to run that past
Yeah.
you. And
well, how's we'll get to you in just a second. How is your performance compared to the other closers?
I'm the only closer.
Okay.
So owner was closing everything before, and obviously as an owner, like if you get someone on the call, it's a little bit easier. But I mean, I've gotten 3 closes out of it's like 30% right now.
Yeah.
Maybe. So-
Okay. I just want to kind of cross that out from being the true bottleneck. 30% close rate can scale. It's the show rate. Also the founder thing. Like, I used to take all the calls for the community. I've had other people. Now it's Diego. Like, dude, Diego closes more people than I do. So it's like, I wouldn't actually, and I've been that guy too. I closed on a fitness offer and I outclosed the guy who was the face of the brand and he was good at sales. And there's kind of like a little bit of unspoken leverage in not talking to the business owner. It's like, yeah, like the business owner is like, he really knows his stuff. He's kind of big leagues here, but you can work with him. I'll show you how, like it's a little bit different.
Yeah, there's just like it's an industry that I have automotive background, but like detail specific industry, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot of stuff until getting started, so a little bit it's just cranking up.
Yeah. Can you send me on Circle the call booking link? I want to check it out. If you want me to book with a completely fake name and everything, I will. I don't want them to think you're like going and saying, oh, the offer sucks. Can you like help them or whatever?
No, I'll just play it off as like Dylan was interested in the offer that I hopped on. He wanted to run through the funnel so he could, keep us in the loop. We have this community. If we ever need anyone in the future, he just wanted to kind of vet it.
Yeah, whatever you feel is best. But if you can send me that booking link, I'll check it out. All right. What's the latest with you, man?
Hey, what's up? Just been applying like crazy, right? Our last call was Thursday or Friday, just a few days ago. So yeah, I've just been lobbing them out there. Each one, I've gotten some no's. I've gotten some people that just aren't opening like DMs or replying at all. And Loom, you can see who watches your videos. So I've been trying to make one specific for each offer. And I've gotten about half of them watched. I do have an interview set up for next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, the 2nd. I'm not sure if that's Tuesday or not, but it's with,
Yep.
I'm gonna go through with it. I'm not really sure. So I applied for one offer, and then I spoke to somebody on the phone, and they told me that it wasn't available, and they sent me something else, and they had me book the interview while I was on the phone with them. So I went ahead and booked it, and then I read the Google Doc, and it was basically outbound setter role, cold calling. So I was like, well, that's not at all. I applied for a closer role for something way different.
Yeah.
So I canceled the booking, and she called me back like a few days later, and she's like, hey, what's going on with this interview? You canceled. And I kind of explained to her. So then she told me that let's go ahead and do the interview, and then if they think I'm a good fit, I'll get moved to stage 3, and they'll show me other availabilities, which I thought, well, why don't you tell me that the first time? So it's a little weird. I thought that she told me that there was nothing else available besides what she showed me, and then I cancel, and she calls me back and says, well, let's see how this goes. But I'm going to give it a shot,
Mm-hmm.
just to get practice at the very least. I'm already off that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like my experience has been good. Speaking of communication, I need to send you my updated resume and some Loom examples. I've just been busy, man, with work. Like, 'cause I'm still working full time, right? Like, I drove like 3,000 miles last week, so I'm getting home like at 10, 9. I'm combing my hair, I'm throwing on a shirt, and I'm like shooting Loom videos, man, sending out applications, and yeah, so I'm having to take days off for these interviews and these calls just so I make sure I get it right and not screwing it up.
Unless you have a new link, I have your resume here. It looks
Cool.
It looks good. Yeah, this is not a bottleneck for any reason. What I would say, the first thing that I'm like, okay, in a perfect world, you join this call and you say, yeah, dude, I'm, pacing awesome amount of money, I'm closing, could probably quit my job soon, whatever. And then if we're not there, it's like reverse engineering. Like, what is the bottleneck? If I'm looking at your application sheet, I think, we actually made a mistake. I may have misguided you. We booked this call a little bit earlier than we probably should have. So ideally, if your last call was last Friday, which I kind of blanked out on, ideally you're having this call this Friday at the latest. Now, look, you have schedule work. Maybe this is all you could book. Maybe I messed up and told you the wrong thing. It doesn't really matter because we're still gonna make it productive. The reason why we want this a week out. You probably heard me say it to the guys on the last call. We want it a week out, or preferably a week and a half out, is because if I'm looking at these applications right now, you've got 9 out in the last 5-6 days, and for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going back to the 24th, about, they really haven't had much time to materialize. What they're going to do is they're going to post this out into a few places, take applicants for a few days, start sorting through it. Maybe a day or two later they start pushing people, pushing interviews. And so, what we just talked about with holiday week, 1, people are traveling, but then 2, holiday week combined with half of these roles that we have applied to have been done in a time frame where it would be pretty unreasonable for us to have an offer extended. Like if you applied to something on the 24th and today on the 26th you had an offer extended, I'm not saying I would be concerned, but I'd be like, well, hold on, pump the brakes. Like, let's make sure this is good, right? So I just want to point that out, but like I'm not seeing any specific problems other than that. On the flip side of this, if we come into this call and hypothetical situation that would be kind of unrealistic, on that Friday when you had your call, what was the date that Friday? 21? Yeah, 21. If you had gone out and sent 30 applications on the 21st and you came into this call with nothing to show for it, no interviews, no anything, then I would be like, okay, hold on, there's something going on here. Let's really dissect this and figure out where the bottleneck is. Right now, I don't think there's any bottleneck. I can speak a little bit on that company. My patience, I don't even think this is the right thing to say. What I want to say is like my patience is wearing thin. What I'm really trying to say is like, I haven't seen too many people go to them and find super high quality roles yet. And so I'm not quite convinced that they're a super reliable source for us. So don't put too much weight into that one conversation yet. This goes for, Brian's in a role now, but any other like sales agency, recruiter pipeline, anything like that where they probably get a lot of applicants and they're always hiring for multiple offers, those are really good to like apply with your best foot forward, best effort, follow up as you normally would. Don't get your hopes up particularly high because you just need to know that there's a lot more competition for those. And we're in the game, like we're trying to play the numbers game of like going where the competition is either not there yet or just less for us, and then we outshine them and then we get the opportunity we're looking for. I don't want you to go into the most competitive battleground and just compete on sheer sales ability because it's just not really going to get you where you want technically or typically. I would say like the best odds that you're going to have, I think if I remember right, it's similar to what did, which is like a direct application with a company that says, hey, we're hiring, apply directly here with us now. So you are going to that company themselves is evaluating this, not a third party involved. So all that being said, man, I'm not really concerned with anything that I'm seeing here. I do want to just throw that out there because if I'm looking at some of these roles in here, some of them are like sales agency, those like big hiring pipelines. Mm-hmm. But just know you're going to have leverage in the direct one-to-one applications. They're going to be less competitive. You probably actually, I don't know if you caught this. On the back end of that last call, I was talking about how the goal needs to be getting interviews. It's actually very similar for both of you. On paper, you guys might have a harder time competing because you haven't yet been in this industry. It's a lot easier to pick between two people that I don't know when one has been in this industry and one has not, to pick the one that's been in the industry. However, if I get you on an interview and you show up, black button-down shirt, and the other guy shows up looking like me with a hoodie and a trucker hat, but I have high ticket experience, well, I'd be like, well, he just seems like more of a professional. He seems competent. I believe he can work the CRM and represent our company well. So we need to optimize for just like interviews. And Loom is kind of it's like a teaser of an interview, and that's why those are really important. Resume looks good. If you do want to send Loom videos to me, don't hesitate. Feel free to send however many. Same goes to you if you ever need that, or post in the community channel for feedback from more people. But yeah, man, I'm not really too concerned with this. We do want to given you're having to take time away from work to interview, we want to try to make sure that we're not wasting our time. If you need help doing any due diligence on roles before interviewing, I'm happy to help. I don't think it would be an efficient use of your time or my time to run every single job by me before you interview. But if there's something that, you think is serious, like I'm more than happy to check it out for you. If it's in the community, it's usually past like some sort of due diligence, like front end, like we've backed it up with revenue or sales team earnings or somehow, some way. And if it's not, we'll make sure that, if we get feedback that this was like really misrepresented or someone knows something we don't, we'll make sure that it's not shared in here anymore. But no, man, I mean, that's kind of the assessment is like, I don't really see anything going super wrong here. Do you feel like there's any areas of this process where you're just like super stuck or feel like you're going in the wrong direction or could be much better?
No, I definitely don't feel stuck. I think, just polishing some things, watching Loom video the other day, I wasn't too far off that, but I was like, yeah, man, I need to title these. I need to, show up to, not that I was showing up in like gym shorts and a dirty t-shirt on these looms, but I need to clean it up like as if I was going to an interview. Mm-hmm. And then customizing them, right? Like my first one was very generic, and then I sent that out a few times, and then I was like, I think it'd just be better if I customize it to each time. But no, I think I'm doing okay. No, I know I just had that call last Friday, so I'm just gonna keep at it. I might space the next one out a little bit so I can get some more traction to come back here with more progress. But yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good about it so far.
Yeah, man. I would say if you could do, the amount that in my mind that makes it unreasonable for you not to have something within, when I say have something, I mean extended to you, not necessarily you accept it, but if you could apply to the equivalent of 5 jobs per day for a week or a week and a half business days, so 5 to 8 days, 5 jobs per day, it would be unreasonable for you not to have something if you were applying to the type of role that we kind of pointed you toward based on your experience and everything. And then you go at it with good Loom video, good resume, which it sounds like you are, and you track these. I would say you could also probably get the job done if you did 3 per day for that time period. Because you've already had, I don't know if this is fully up to date. How many interviews did you say?
Just this one. I had a phone interview, and then next week I have a video interview with the same company.
Yeah, I went through it with too.
Yeah.
They just kind of push you to like what they need filled.
That's kind of the vibe I got, right? Because
that's why I don't want to say don't apply to those, but at the same time, like a mistake a lot of people make is they get in with like a big agency recruiting pipeline and they think like, oh, this company's big, this company's legit, like that means whatever they put me on is going to be where I should be. It's like, that's not the case at all. Like you still need to do the same level of due diligence, whether it comes through our community or a sales agency or anything like that. So don't not go through the process, but at the same time, like I would stay consistent with the applications. The main thing is applying to the new ones, because if we look at it, application funnel, the very top thing that's going to like sort you into consideration or out of consideration is how soon you apply. Because if you're already 3-4 days late and they've already passed around the first round of applicants to interviews and you missed it, like not good. There's something to this too. If you just had like an off day and you're like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to have fun with it, apply to a ton of jobs, put stuff into the air. If you went, I would actually prefer that you go back, instead of applying to jobs that were posted like a week ago, go back and apply to jobs that were posted a month ago, because a month ago is like nobody's applying to those, one, and the odds that they didn't find the person, they found the person but they got fired, they found the person but they left, the team is growing more, they're expecting to hire people next month, like it's a really good window to like catch people where nobody else is catching them. And this is assuming you've already applied to the new stuff. So I'm just saying, if you want something fun to do, it's not really that fun, that will give you some decent odds, going to like the 2 to 4 week old stuff, you'll cut through the noise a lot easier that way.
Okay.
Definitely just prioritize the new stuff though. I know we're only booked for 30 minutes here. I don't have anything after this. Do you guys have any just like topics? Send me that booking link and I'll check it out. But
I DM'd you on Instagram. I don't know if it's going to be in your actual DMs because we weren't following each other. So I kind of dig for it.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
Did you send me their Instagram?
So
Fun.
yeah, this is.
I got you. Interesting. Okay, cool. I'll check this out. The page looks good. Yeah, I just sent this in our text thread just so I have it. And yeah, let's connect on that. I'll give you some. I might be able to do it right after this call. I'll give you some feedback
I
on
gotta go
it.
pick up my kids.
For sure. I'll just send you a message.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. And I mean, the main focus is just like what you can control, 3 to 5 per day. I know easier said than done, especially with the whole tracking sheet and everything, but it's really that simple. You just gotta find the
Yeah, I'll
time.
get it done. Just doing it. You know what I mean? But I'm feeling good.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys let me know. DMs or in the help or feedback channel if you need anything, and we'll just keep it pushing.
For sure.
You guys have a good Thanksgiving.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Nice meeting
Enjoy, you guys. Take
Good
care.
Good luck.
you. Later.
Camera's at 1%. And now I have some homework. I need to talk to one of the guys about the jobs that he was sending me. I need to review a call booking funnel for another guy who accepted a job, but his show rate on this closing role is not the best. Probably gonna end at like 6 to 8K in his first month, where he was expecting more than 10. So not the worst case scenario, but not the best either. So I'm gonna look at that. I'm going to talk to one of these guys about the job that he sent me, and then we're done. So you guys, that was 3 of the 5 calls that members of our community will go through with us. Everything's super custom fit. I get to know these guys, first name, last name, the types of jobs they were working, are working, their goals, everything unique to them. In addition to this, we have 3 weekly open floor calls. So the calls you just saw, we do those twice a week. Then we have calls on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Different topics like sales strategy, getting hired, and a genuine open floor. If you want a custom fit approach to this remote sales stuff and you want to minimize the potential for downside and not making money and leaving a job when you don't need to, then we are your guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully it was useful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.